Mayday, mayday, mayday. 624, 624. I think you've got a heading shot. Chris, get out.
In some parts of the world, when the unexpected happens, whether through accident or disaster, man is forced into close contact with the jungle.
Christ.
These are equatorial and tropical rainforests, areas which have remained unchanged for millions of years. When the primeval world cooled, the oceans formed. As life developed, dense forests spread to cover those regions warm and moist enough to support growth. More than 2/5 of all living species occur in these jungles, which occupy 6% of the Earth's land surface. Of that population, only 15% have yet been named by man. Growth is steady and prolific where heat and moisture remain almost constant, night and day, summer and winter. Soil is poor. Fallen leaves and branches are quickly devoured by swarming insects, or greedily consumed by the roots of trees as they race each other for the sunlight. By seas and rivers, mangrove swamps and nipa palm crowd the shoreline, dense and impenetrable. In mountainous areas, the trees are stunted and thick with moss. Growth is nurtured by heavy rains and swirling mists. In primary jungle, where towering trees overshadow the jungle floor, it is dark as a cathedral. This is the untouched primeval forest that lies between coast and mountain. Nothing thrives beneath this canopy. Where man has cleared the land, the light has caused an explosion of growth. This is secondary jungle. It's a free-for-all. Growing as much as 3 meters a year, vegetation forms a barrier to movement. Survival, or the ability to live and prosper in this environment, means the finding of water to drink and food to eat. Skill in remaining concealed from predators, and the ability to move with stealth. Primitive man didn't need to learn these skills. He was part of the jungle and its laws, like the other creatures which dwelt in it. He relied on silence, concealment, and on instinct, which was based on the careful observation of minute warning signs. It is urban man who has forgotten these skills. He hasn't any need for physical concealment, because social and commercial survival is now his goal. When man returns to the jungle in search of raw materials, with him go the trappings of urban life. Even when things go disastrously wrong, he's unlikely to be completely without the benefits of civilization. And one of the most valuable of these is information about the jungle itself. The jungle can sound a frightening place, but most noises don't warn of danger to man. Fear of the unknown, loneliness, and lack of acclimatization to the heat and humidity, these are the real enemies which have to be faced. The steady fall of dead branches and even entire trees eaten by insects and collapsing without warning can kill. Harmless-looking fronds of rattan are armed with razor-sharp thorns. Often called waiterwai, they can slash face and hands.
Hello, 610 over. 610 radio check over.
The high rainfall in tropical jungle areas means that water is never far away. But is it safe to drink? Often it is not. Hepatitis, leptospirosis caused by rats' urine, and typhus are all found in jungle streams. The water must be made safe with chlorine tablets. Rain can be collected with the help of a simple spiral groove cut into a tree. Chalice plants catch insects and also trap water. The water can be filtered with a sand-filled sock stuffed into a hollow bamboo trunk. Again, it must be treated with chlorine tablets. Water is more essential to life than food, and man cannot survive for long without it. One of the greatest threats to man in the jungle comes from the mosquito. New and more dangerous forms of malaria are developing in spite of modern science and medicine. Without netting, it is impossible to avoid mosquito bites. However, insect repellent helps to keep them away. It is essential to take anti-malaria tablets. Leeches are an inescapable part of living in the jungle. They're harmless, but shouldn't be pulled off the skin or infection will set in. Insect repellent or a lighted cigarette will dislodge them. The bites of poisonous creatures can be made less serious with the help of tablets which slow the heart rate and so reduce the spread of the poison through the body. There are many poisonous reptiles and insects in the jungle. Most give a painful bite, some kill, but all will avoid man if he avoids them. It is for this reason that an effective shelter is essential, even for one night in the jungle. A roof made of leaves and a sleeping platform raised from ground level are all that's needed to give protection from rain, snakes, and scorpions. Fire gives psychological support, helps to dry wet clothes, and the smoke from it repels insects. Water, shelter, fire, and finally, food. The jungle is a generous provider of roots, fruits, and edible leaves. Some are poisonous, so knowledge and care are needed. Simple animal traps can be made with a triggering device, a noose of wire, and a bent sapling. Variations on the theme, such as this monkey trap, use a spring-loaded blade to impale the animal as it takes the bait. Rivers in the jungle are full of fish. These can be eaten raw and also smoked or cooked over a fire. The smoke from a fire is very easily seen over the jungle canopy, particularly at dawn or dusk, a point to be remembered by those who want to remain concealed as well as those who want to be found.
Ah, I see smoke. We'll go and have a look at it.
Hello, 6, this is 618 contact smoke, way now.
So man, alone in the jungle, won't freeze, starve, or die of thirst. With good luck and sustained health, he can survive for months and even years if necessary, as many Japanese soldiers did after the Second World War. However, surviving, or simply staying alive, leaves little time for much else. When you're preparing to fight a war in the jungle, you're faced with an extremely demanding task, which requires that the time devoted to feeding and living is reduced to the absolute minimum. Equipment and rations have to be carefully thought out. Men must carry most of their needs with them. Sleeping accommodation must be provided by a combination of waterproof sheeting and mosquito nets. Clothing should be light, cool, yet tough enough to resist tearing. Boots must be well ventilated. Health must be looked after with all the help that modern science can provide. But as important as all of these is information. Information on the choice and use of weapons appropriate to this environment, and on the many demands that the jungle makes on the individual soldier. He should never lose sight of certain basic skills and rules, some of which have remained unchanged since the Stone Age, and all of which can be learned. Past experience of war in the jungle and the historical events on which it is based form an important part of learning how to face a jungle enemy. Troops of many nations have amassed considerable experience of fighting in counter-revolutionary, limited, and even total war conditions in jungle areas of the world. This knowledge can be crystallized and used to benefit present and future needs, which may include operations conducted by large formations against a regular force enemy, as well as those times when man himself is pitted against the jungle.